Hey everybody, welcome back. This here is a Moss Tropical Breeze spinner ceiling fan, 52 inch, and this is a version made by View-Fan, and it's actually branded New Fan, but rebranded for Moss. So I know that the Moss used a couple of different OEMs for the Tropical Breeze series, and View-Fan, I don't think it's the earliest variant, but it's one of the first, or one of the earliest variants of the Tropical Breeze. I have a Tropical Breeze Deluxe, which is a lot different. That one has a vented spinner motor, so and I think that one's stamped, and I don't know who the OEM of that motor is, but yeah, I think that one's a little later. These are they came in a lot of different variations as well. Um, like they had ones that had noses and ones like this that didn't. And then I think they had different size. I know they had a smaller version that was 36 inch. I don't know if they had like a 48. Yeah, I think they did have a 48 inch model. And then they had a larger, obviously 52 inch model. Um, Different blades, plain, with the cane like you see here. I haven't seen a stenciled one. I don't know if this particular version, the View-Fan ones, came with stencil. Um, but yeah, so this one I picked up off of Facebook Marketplace a couple days ago. Actually, I think it was like last week, maybe over the weekend. I got it. I can't remember. Um, but yeah, I picked it up, got it home, and I really like these View-Fan spinners. They are very childhood for me because if you'll remember, the house that my great aunt and great uncle used to live at, long time ago now, uh, used to have three Codep spinners in the upstairs bedrooms. They were this version, the View-Fan model, and they had the nut in the center of the motor, just like that. So that's pretty childhood. The nut is a very childhood characteristic for me, at least. Um, and yeah, so I've always had a soft spot for these View-Fan spinners with the nut. Um, and this is it's pretty heavy. It's a cast iron spinner motor, so these are pretty good quality. Um, yeah. So now, like I said, this was labeled New Fan now, or it was branded New Fan, and it is labeled New Fan as well. So it's labeled both Moss and New Fan, and it's actually got three labels on it, and it has three different model numbers on it for some reason, which I thought was pretty funny. There's like the Moss model number, and then the New Fan model number. So interesting. Um, and then this also would have come with a 5-speed control. Fortunately, I did not get the control with it, but I have it connected to a solid state control, one of the ones that I have. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything else to say about this one, so let's go ahead and turn the furnace off before we turn the fan on. I'm going to start the fan on low. I think that's pretty much like up to speed. Very slow low with this control. Yeah. Turn it just a little bit. Bump it up a little more. So, and then the other interesting thing I forgot to mention was that the motor is listed on the new fan tag. On top of the motor is listed as 48-inch, and the Moss model number is even like TF348 or something like that. So, but this is, I measured it. This is 52 inches. Well, actually, it's pretty much like right in between 50 and 51 inches, but for all intents and purposes, it's 52 inches. But yeah, I just find it kind of interesting they just reuse the 48-inch motor for a 52-inch fan. So I'm going to bump it up a little more. And as a result, you'll see when we get up to high that it doesn't spin super fast. I need to check. I need to compare it to my the brass new fan that I have, because that one is a 52-inch motor. It's probably the same size, but like they just detuned the capacitor or something like that. I'll just turn it up a little more, getting into the functional low setting or range. And unlike the brass new fan, this one's bearings are absolutely dead silent. Right, a little more. I think this is going to take us up into medium low. A little bit of not cyclic buzz, but like static buzz from the solid state. But that's to be expected, even though these motors work really well in solid state. But I'm sure if I put it on a 4-speed or 3-speed capacitor-based control, would be dead silent. So it's like almost medium. I'm gonna put it up just a little bit more to get to maybe like a true medium. Okay, I think that's a good medium. Yeah, a little bit of buzz. Not too bad. I could definitely sleep with it. And again, that's pretty much all just from the control. Alright, let's go up a little more. Going to medium high. Oh, the cat wants to say hi. Right. Go up a little more. And we should be nearing high. Take it up some more. And I'm going to go all the way up to high now. Alright. So now we are at full high speed. And I mean, it does spin pretty fast, but it's definitely not as high RPM as like the Codep, which is a 48-inch motor with 48-inch blades. And these blades I think are pretty heavy with the like they're solid. I think I don't know what type of wood because they're painted, but maybe teak, I don't know. But it's quiet, very quiet. and move a lot of air. But pretty much expected that. Yeah. Let's spin it down now. So I'm very happy to finally have one of these with good bearings and a silent motor, because the Codep that I have, the one that's just like the ones that were in my aunt and uncle's old house, that one's got, I replaced the bearings in that one, but the motor's noisy. And the Golden Fan, or not Golden Fan, New Fan, brass one that I was just mentioning, that one's got noisy bearings. Sounds like a freight train when it's running. So finally got one with quiet bearings and a quiet motor. Definitely wish I had a place to put this. I might. I don't know. If it was a 48-inch model, it would definitely go in my room. Okay, pretty fast spin down time, but the bearings are silent, so I think they're pretty good. I don't see any reason to be concerned. No reverse function, obviously, but we can do a 0 to high. So I will start it up. It does have a little bit of a startup sound, like ever so slightly. I've noticed with these View-Fan motors, these cast iron ones especially, like the Codep. I remember the Codep in my aunt and uncle's house, the one in the kids' room that was noisy that I always talk about. That one had a really noisy startup sound, but everything about that one was loud, so yeah, this one's a nice runner. Show it up close while it's running. I like how the blades are a little bit, like ever so slightly angled upwards, like on a Fasco Charleston. It's another characteristic of these I really like. So yeah, spin it down, or not spin it down, but turn it off and shut it down. We already did spin down. So, show you the fan up close in stationary now. So, the blades, these are very thick blades, very, very heavy. The large cane that takes up most of the area of the blade that was a characteristic of Moss. I really like that. Blade badges. Now it does have the normal Golden Fan, or New Fan, View-Fan / New Fan blade arms, but it does have blade badges as well that are the same exact shape, or similar shape. And they had different models that had, like I know they had one that had, I think it wasn't blade badges, I think it was a blade arm, just regular blade arms. They were like a C blade arm with like a cutout in the center. So, yeah, very interesting how they had a lot of variations, and they had ones that had like a conical nose, kind of like a blender fan. I think those came earlier than this model, this version. Yeah. So yeah, this one's got like all white finish with the polished brass blade arms, brass pinstripe, and the brass nut, which are nice accents. And then the screws on the canopies are brass as well. And the lower canopy doesn't have any markings on it. Sometimes the New Fan and Golden Fan ones had like the New Fan logo on there. I think actually my brass one doesn't either. The label on top are the 3 labels. So here is the Moss label. I don't know if you can get a better view of it. And it says Tropical Breeze Ceiling Fan, manufactured for Moss Manufacturing by View-Fan Manufactory Ltd. Model TFP 348. And then there's the specs. And then there's the New Fan label, which has the New Fan logo. And it says model number N-101C, which I think is the same exact model number as, I'm gonna have to check it, as the brass one. So the brass one, much bigger motor. So this is definitely the 52-inch size motor. That one is a much smaller size, but this one is also, I don't know whether you can see it, if my phone would focus. Oh, this one is model N101B. So that would make sense. This is a different model number. And yeah, different model number. N101B52. So that makes a lot more sense considering that that's an actual 52-inch model, like from the manufacturer. Yeah, and you can see this motor is much smaller. So that makes a lot more sense. And it also, yeah, now that I look at it, this motor does look a lot smaller with the larger blades on it. But anyway, yeah, so this is the New Fan label, N101C. So the C must designate the 42-inch smaller model, and B is the 52-inch larger one. Cycles, or that's the electrical specs, 48-inch sweep, New Fan Manufactory Ltd, and then the other model number here, the longer one, model N101C48. Okay. Well, you know, that makes me curious. I wonder if the Codep model or motor is a 52-inch one. This one looks like it's a 48-inch. Yeah, I think so. Alright, well, anyways, I think that just about does it for this one. So that is the Moss Tropical Breeze, made by New Fan, and branded New Fan, 52-inch spinner ceiling fans. Thank you guys for watching as always, and I'll see you in the next video.